Well, we want to welcome you to our FIABCI webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We've kind of taken a couple of months break from our FIABCI World Council of Brokers webinars, and I appreciate all of the kind comments and people who have told us they've missed the webinars and they wanted us to keep the webinars going. So we're back February, and we have a real treat for you today with a webinar from a good friend of mine, and he is in Nice, France. We have people all over the world. In fact, I would like to just begin our webinar by finding out, first of all, if you can hear me okay. And if you can hear me, if you would just maybe raise your hand, or you have the ability with the control panel to raise your hand, or you can even type in the chat box that you can hear me. Thank you, Eric. Good to have you on. I need to be in touch with you as well, Eric, to talk to you about a couple of things. So thanks a lot, Eric, and hopefully everyone else can hear us okay. So good. First of all, I want to just do a quick poll and find out where some of you are watching from. So I'm going to launch the poll right now. And if you want to tell us where you are watching the webinar from, then we can get a good idea. Very exciting results. I think you will find this extremely interesting. We are just about everyone has voted, and I will close the poll here, and I will share the results with you so that you can see that. And as you can see from the results, we actually have 15% of the folks in the United States that are watching, 31% from South America, which is very, very interesting, 46% of our members from the Europe and Russia area, 8% from Canada, and of course we know it's probably in the middle of the night for Asia and India, but we are recording the webinar, and so we will have this available for everyone as well. Well, let's get started. I want to welcome my good friend Vog. I call him Vog. Voghagen Moses Vayan. They took phonics out of school, so I'm going to let Vog tell you how he pronounces his name. But Vog is he has a PhD. He's a doctor and has been studying business around the world and does a lot of research. He works for or in Nice, France. And actually, I wanted to welcome Kirkor is on the webinar with us. And let me get my control panel, who is our president-elect. I'm going to make sure I do not see Danielle on, but Kirkor, I'm going to unmute you if you would like to say hello to everyone. He is will be our new president in Panama. So Kirkor, good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good morning, John. It's an excellent initiative. Thank you to VAC for organizing this webinar. Really, it's exceptional. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And I will mute you back so you do not have to worry about any of us hearing anything going on. You're muted back. But thank you, Kirkor. Kirkor actually was the first president of the World Council of Brokers, and he had lots of great initiatives, and through Kirkor and our team with the World Council of Brokers, we started the webinars, and we've done probably over 20 of them since Kirkor took over as World Council of President. We're excited about his leadership as our president, and thank you for that. Well, Vog, I'm going to let you get started and tell us a little bit about real estate investments and new paradigms worldwide. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, if you have a question, you can type those in the question bank. I'll be monitoring the questions for Vog, and he'll come on periodically, possibly. We'll be sure and take your questions. If you do not want to type your question in, raise your hand. I'm going to put everybody's hands down, and I will unmute you, just as we did Kirkor. and we can allow you to ask a question to Vog. But keep in mind, he's going to do his presentation. We will take questions periodically. And the last thing I will mention is keep in mind we are using technology and computers. Weird things could happen. If for some reason we go off the air, just stay put. We'll come right back on and everything will come back to normal. So Vog, go right ahead. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your knowledge and information with us.
Thank you very much, John. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I see you are from many countries around the world. I am based in Nice, in France, so it's late afternoon here. But I see that on the left part of the world, they are still in the morning. So I hope you had your coffee, because John told me that I'm gonna have about an hour. So you're gonna bear with me and to see this presentation, and I'm gonna be presenting and replying to your questions. Thank you, John, for organizing this webinar. It's an excellent opportunity to share knowledge all around the world without gathering in one place. It saves a lot of time, a lot of expenses, and this is an excellent opportunity actually. And thank you, Kirkor, for being here with us. Kirkor Arderanyan, who initiated the global real estate think tank that I'm going to talk about a bit. And he's the FIABCI world president-elect and will pick up this position in May in Panama. Thank you for organizing and giving this opportunity. I should say that the idea for organizing a webinar on this topic arose in Dubai 1 month ago when we met with John. And he proposed to make a bit larger presentation on real estate investments worldwide, just to review what's going on in many different countries in real estate and try to make some projections for the coming year and for the years to come up to 2020. So please bear with me, around 30-40 minutes of presentation. Meanwhile, don't hesitate to ask questions or type questions, as John explained. I used to give presentations with interactive audience, so seminars are better for me because sometimes when I see that the idea is not very well understood, I'm repeating or trying to explain another way. While in the case of webinar, I don't see your faces, so I'll take this advantage. I will switch off my face as well. But so we will concentrate on the slides, and each time you want to ask a question, please don't hesitate and write down. So I'm going to switch off my camera, and I'm going to switch on the PowerPoint. Here we go. The webinar that is organized by World Council of Brokers of FIABCI, Worldwide Federation of Real Estate, whose president was elected John Mayfield, our very good friend. He's based in the United States now. And this is a part of the presentation that we prepared in the global real estate, one of the projects of this global real estate, with Kirkor Arderanyan, who is the general coordinator. And I'm just leading one of these, some of these projects, but one of these is today's webinar topic. What I'm going to do now is try to understand and explain what does it mean global real estate think tank. And then we'll go on the main topic of today's talk and try to explain what's going on worldwide, what is the state of the art in real estate investments worldwide, what are the peculiar regions, why they are interesting, what are the weaknesses and strengths, and try to make some projections for the year 2016, and try to concentrate a bit more on French market because I'm based in Nice and I feel that French market is one of the peculiar markets, and it will be a great opportunity to share a bit more on French market and French Riviera opportunities. What does it mean global real estate think tank? It's a platform for industry best minds to discuss timely strategic issues affecting the future of the profession. And actually there are 4 key areas that this think tank is focusing. It's lobbying for the profession, image, business ethics and communication, civic city planning and sustainable development, and which is not less important, the calendar coordination, because there are so many events ongoing worldwide that we have to coordinate to try to participate as much as possible, because this interaction gives double results. I'm not going to stop on all the details on the Global Real Estate Think Tank, just to show how the think tank events are going on in some areas. I'll show you where we have been. And the mission statement of this think tank is to promote best practices as they pertain to our industry on a global scale, to bring together the best minds from existing organizations to discuss timely strategic issues that affect the future of the global organized real estate profession, and to bring new ideas to the table, providing these organizations an opportunity to be engaged in a dialogue regarding these issues. The stated purpose of this new platform is for an exchange of industry knowledge and experience for which all can benefit. This is the idea. Since its creation in 2009 in Paris with 25 participating countries, we have more than 30 countries that are actively participating, and there are several countries that already applied for being part of this think tank. The think tank is web-based, actually, and we're running several ongoing projects with our colleagues and academicians worldwide to try to highlight what are the hot topics for the profession and what are the main issues for some countries that have some difficulties, and try to share some best practices in order to help our neighbor countries to improve their market in their own countries. Some of the events you can see in New Orleans, Dubai, Hyderabad, Nice, Sao Paulo, Anaheim, Paris, and many other places that I didn't put, just to show that the participations of global real estate think tank meetings are quite enthusiastic and quite important, because this is one of the best ways to share the knowledge and try to see what are the best ways that one can learn from others, because all are high professionals, and even academicians that try to highlight some issues are contributing to this knowledge. I'm going to switch to now the main topic of today's webinar, which is the real estate investments new paradigms worldwide, and try to understand what are these paradigms. So far so good, and the best news is that global house price index worldwide is trying to recover slowly. If you can see from this slide, I accumulated from different sources, and I just put the picture from 2000 just to see that after the crisis we had worldwide, the market is slowly but recovering. This is the best good news, and I'm going to give you several other good news as well. Real house prices. I put several countries. I hope you can see in your screens. On your screens, the number of countries is so huge that I actually cut some of them. But just to show the picture, that during the 2015, I tried to get the latest statistics. And 2015, the real house prices mostly increased over the past year. If you can see on the right part of the graph, there are so many countries that we see increase. But on the left side, we see several countries that we have decreased. For example, in the case of Ukraine, actually 2 months ago we were in Ukraine, and where the FIABCI Ukraine organized the largest real estate events. And that was a fantastic event to collaborate and to understand the difficulties of this country and try to understand how this country might improve its market conditions to attract more international investors. And the fact is that, yes, in Ukraine, this is the best period to invest, because the real prices are really, really down. And the projections for the future are quite positive. So in the short run, even in the short run, we are expecting quite positive results out of the investments in Ukrainian real estate, especially in large cities like the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. Same more or less in Russia. We have been in Russia in December for the conference in St. Petersburg, and there was a huge event as well. It's All Russian Real Estate Congress. And the outcome, the analysis of statistics of this real estate from all around the Russia, shows that the real estate prices are still decreasing there because of several factors that I'm going to explain a bit later, if you bear with me. If you switch to house price to income ratio, which is one of the most important ratios to have an idea of what's going on in some countries' real estate markets, again, based on the statistics that I accumulated from several open sources like IMF, OECD, etc., we see that in some countries, prices increased faster than income. For example, on the left side, you see Austria, Germany, Switzerland, New Zealand, Luxembourg, while on the other side, on the right side, you see Spain, Greece, Hungary, Netherlands, Slovenia, Italy that are not as fast increasing. I'm going to concentrate at the end on France. So you can see in the middle, almost after Czech Republic and Finland, we have France. Probably I can show like this so you can see this. France are not increasing as fast as many other countries. So this is one of the good news that I'll explain why. Coming to the house price to rent ratio, which is quite interesting mostly for our international investors, but not only for international ones, but local ones as well. We see that prices have grown faster than rents, which is quite interesting because we had some period when we had vice versa actually. Prices have grown less faster than rents, which means that at that period when you were making investments, it was easier to rent apartments, for example, than to buy houses. Now, in some countries, the situation changed because of some financial situations and the banking system. For example, the banking are giving mortgage loans at incredible low prices, incredible low exchange rates, interest rates. So people tend to get these loans and buy apartments instead of renting. I'm going to review 4 large blocks of countries worldwide based on risk and reward indexes. And these large groups are developed states, Central and Asian Europe, Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa, and Latin America. After reviewing these 4 blocks, I'm going to give the global overview with and without country-specific risks and rewards. Before going on, I want to explain what is the risk and reward index methodology. These are actually, this index provides a comparative regional ranking system evaluating the ease of doing business and the industry-specific opportunities and limitations for potential investors, be it local or international, in a given market. Actually, this system divides into 2 district areas, rewards and risks. And each category divides into 2 subcategories as well, industry and country. Evaluation of sector size in growth potential in each state and also broader industry state characteristics that may inhibit in its development are the rewards part. This is further broken down into 2 subcategories, as I told, like industry rewards and country rewards. The industry rewards is an industry-specific category taking into account current industry size and growth forecasts, the openness of market to new entrants and foreign investors to provide an overall score for potential returns for investments. While country rewards is a country-specific category and factors in favorable political and economic conditions for the industry. Since I'm actually, I do not have much time, I don't want to spend too much time on this, I'm speaking a bit fast. So if some of you have difficulties to hear me, please write down so I will go a bit slowly. On the risk part, the evaluation of industry-specific dangers and those emanating from the state's political economic profile that call into question the likelihood of anticipated returns being realized over the assessed time period is divided in 2 subcategories as well, industry risks and country risks. The industry risk is an industry-specific category whose score covers potential operational risks to investors, regulatory issues inhabiting the industry, and the relative maturity of a market. While on the other side, the country risk I mean, no need to explain, but this is a country-specific category in which political and economic instability, unfavorable legislation, and poor overall business environment are evaluated to provide an overall score. So let's go on and see what's going on with developed states. I'm going to show you the graphs and the scores of industry and country, both rewards and risks, and overall the rank of a country. But in those graphs, you're going to see only the industry risks and rewards. While at the end, I will add the category of country risk and rewards. And we will see how the picture is changing. Because we are mostly interested in industry, real estate industry, I'll try to put also some details on each country to explain what are the region's strengths and weaknesses, for example. In this case, I choose only 4 developed states, just to make the picture more clear. But consider that in these states, the industry strengths include several strengths, actually, which are major and most advanced world economies, including, while the real estate sector is considered as safe haven by international investors. On the other hand, strong foreign investors are still interested in this real estate sector for numerous factors and numerous arguments. For each country, I can speak separately and explain the strength of this real estate industry, but if you will have questions, then I will do this. Otherwise, probably later on. And as John mentioned, the webinar is registered and it should be on the website available. So even furthermore, whenever you will hear or you will have some questions, you can directly ask these questions via email, and I will be happy to explain all these details. So the weaknesses of real estate industry of these developed states are slowing export volumes to major markets such as China and the Eurozone. Banks are much more risk averse than in previous years, and access to credit to private investors is therefore more difficult. And investment in rural areas lags behind the urban markets. As we can see on the graph I put on the left side rewards, so the higher is the better, more rewards. While on the axis of risks, you see I put 100 on the left side and it's decreasing, which means that on the right side is less riskier, which is much better. So don't be confused. On the left side, the higher the better. On the right side, the righter the better. As you can see, US is the rank number 1 because of many arguments that I've explained later on, but France is not lagging behind. So it's almost equally rewarding and risk averse, let's say. But we'll come back to the UK and Germany markets later on in my slides, if you bear. The Central and Eastern Europe, I tried to choose as much countries as possible to get some publicly available data. And we have several countries on the left side, you see, and the ranking of these countries are on your right side in red. Here is the graph of Central and Eastern European countries. Again, I'm repeating, this is the industry risks and rewards graph. I'm not introducing the country. The country risk and rewards I will introduce later on, and the picture will be a bit changed. The region's strength include increasing popularity for foreign investments, growth in disposable income in retail spending, and access to major Eurozone markets, expect Russia, while offering a low price base for foreign operations. And in the case of Russia, the country risk and reward introduction will change a bit because of political issues. The Russian market are less attractive now, while it is quite attractive and rewarding if you see only the industry. Coming back to the Middle East and Africa, I chose several countries. On the left side, you see the Israel, South Africa, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. And although the United Arab Emirates is on the right list and more risk-averse region, let's say, it's not the more rewarding because, for example, Qatar, Israel are more rewarding. And the strength of this region, as far as I could accumulate some information on these countries, is growing international economic partnership and interest, low barriers to entry into the industry, growing demand for Western-style luxury products in creating long-term opportunities for retailers. Of course, this region, as well as others, have some weaknesses, which is rapidly changing political situation that can make some locations unattractive for investors and businesses. And going to the Latin America and say good morning to everyone who is there. The good news is that Brazil is the leader based on this methodology, while Chile, Mexico are following and are lagging behind. We have also Peru, Argentina, and Venezuela. The strength of this region include growth in the economy overall, which is partly due to the surging demand for commodity exports, growth in the retail sector due to rising income and consumerism, and good access to capital for real estate development. And I'll be happy to discuss these countries country by country if you have specific questions. But if you allow me, I will go a bit further to show the global overview of these countries based on industry.
Bob, this is John. We had a question that came in about France in relation to Germany. They were wondering why France was higher than Germany. Why the real estate score was different that you just discussed.
I will explain the case of Germany and the case of France because these are totally different cases, and in both cases the real estate market is quite attractive, while in the case of France, that I will explain later on, we have two focus zones, which is the global Paris area, and the French Riviera, where I'm based. While in the case of Germany, they have 4 focusing areas and 4 are competing areas. And in those big cities, the markets are quite attractive, while on the rest part of the Germany, it's much worse than in the rest of France. I will go on explain the case of France, and if it will not be enough, I will explain furthermore the case of Germany. So I hope at this stage the answer is satisfactory. If you bear with me in a couple of minutes, I will go to the case of Germany as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. So the global overview, I tried to put many countries, but of course these are not all the countries, otherwise on the graph it will be very difficult to identify which country is what. You see the country on the right side and the red dot I put just to identify the risks and rewards. And I highlighted France as well because I'm going to talk about France a bit more. As you can remember, the France and United States were more or less in the same situation when I put the developed countries slide. If I introduce the country reward and risks, we are going to have a bit different picture. Here you go. So the US is much higher rewarding than in previous case. See, I'm changing just to show the difference. While France is more or less in the same. Slovakia on the right side, which is the most risk-averse region in Central Europe, and it's quite rewarding. It's a new market, and it's quite attractive market, especially for Russian-speaking world, because they are trying to choose a Central European location for their residence, secondary residences. It's quite interesting and quite new market. There are so many countries that I would like to speak about, but I'm not sure we will have enough time to discuss all the countries. So again, I'm repeating, whenever an interest arises, just raise your hand or write a question, and I will put a bit more attention to this and I will explain. Coming to real estate investments in Europe, here you can see the leader of European real estate market, which is United Kingdom, and I will try to explain that UK market is a leader of European real estate, has another leader inside of this country, which is the London area. Most greatest part of the investment that goes to UK are based in London. Especially this is because of luxury properties that are buying by Russians, Indians, and Chinese. These are the three main international buyers that are putting their investments in the central London area, buying some luxury buildings, offices, and houses. While in the second case, for example, this is one of the answers to Germany. Germany is the second focus of attraction for many investors, and Germany has not so far from UK attractiveness. While in the case of France, we are the third one, but we are lagging behind, almost 3 times less than the UK is attracting, and almost half of the Germany. Although the methodology showed that France was more rewarding than and less risk averse than Germany, the reality is that Germany is attracting quite more, because I'm going to explain why. Have a look on this Europe's 10 most active city markets. Have a look on the left side. 21 billion euros are going only to London. Remember the UK? 47 billions attractiveness. And in the case of London, it's almost 45% goes to London. While in the case of France, for example, which is Paris is the second largest market that attracts real estate investment worldwide, and especially this is central part of Paris and also Greater Paris. Paris is attracting almost 1/3 of all the real estate investments that goes to France. You remember, France had 16 billions, and only Paris area is attracting 6 of them. 1/3 goes to Paris, 1/3 goes to where? That's right, French Riviera. It goes to Nice, Cannes, and around these areas, where still the luxury properties, not only luxury properties, are of quite interest of international buyers. While in the case of Germany, here we go. We remember that Germany was attracting around 30 billion euros in real estate market. We have so many attractions, including Munich, Berlin, Hamburg, and Frankfurt. So these are 4 cities, 4 attractive points that are attracting mostly international investors from around the world, because in these cities the property is more rewarding. So buying an apartment and renting out gives more reward than, for example, in average you can expect, for example, in France. For example, just to make a comparison, if in France or in our area buying a property and renting out, you will have around 5% annually. In those cities of Germany, you're going to have around 7 to 8, or sometimes a bit more. Coming to skyscraper index, which is one of the quite interesting indexes in 2015, I just put here, actually I wanted to put on this graph the evaluation of this index over the years, but the good thing or the bad thing, I don't know, is that this picture on the axis doesn't change, which means that the names of the cities almost stay constant. So the Hong Kong, Tokyo, New York, London, San Francisco, Singapore are the ones that lead this graph, and skyscrapers index is not changing over the recent years. You can see that Paris is also available here, and it's next to Seoul and Frankfurt, again German city. And Moscow is still quite an interesting case. I'll come back to this. I'll try to base some projections on the available statistics and try to explain what we are expecting in 2016, which will be, of course, not binding and is not overall projection, but this is just a projection based on some statistics that I could accumulate, because in different regions, in different countries, these projections might differ quite highly, and it shouldn't take as given, and it shouldn't be, I mean, it should be taken that this projection is especially for India or especially for the United States. But this is just a mix of what I could do based on the statistics. Well, actually, this is mostly based on the PricewaterhouseCoopers emerging trends in real estate study of 2016 that reflects the views of more than 1,800 industry experts, including investors, fund managers, developers, property companies, lenders, brokers, advisors, and consultants. But I added some other things as well. So 18-hour cities means that potential workers are drawn to these markets due to the availability of services and amenities similar to larger metro areas, but at an affordable cost. So employers are drawn to the quality of the workforce and the lower cost of doing business. The bottom line, as far as I figure out, is that these 18-hour cities are being considered viable investment alternatives to the large metropolitan areas. The next stop, the growing suburbs. Investors still like urban investments, but urban areas are not a finite universe. The real estate market has found a way to replicate the attractive components of an urban environment in select suburban locations. And a growing amount of evidence supports this idea that millennials will eventually make their way to outer neighborhoods and even select suburban locations. While they are leaving the urban center, they are still looking for walkable locations with good public transportation and all of the amenities to which they have become accustomed. Coming back to the offices, this is quite interesting market, the part of the real estate market, because the office property sector offers a direct insight into how technology disruption, generational transfer, workflow reorganization can impact real estate. You all know that space per worker has been steadily declining, but it hasn't been just a drive to cut costs. New space design must be attractive to the workers who companies hope to attract. This has resulted in new layouts in many countries that cater to the demands of the millennial worker, who are quickly becoming the largest percentage of the workforce in most of the countries, I would say. But this new space isn't just appealing to the workers, it also addresses the way work is being done. And technology is allowing workers to be much more flexible in what they can do and where they can do it. And in addition, we are seeing, for example, workers who prefer to go from project to project rather than commit to a single employer, and firms who prefer to share space with other companies. Quite interesting point I found out is the parking for style of life, as I called it. For years, the search has been how to provide enough parking. That trend is changing to how do I profitably repurpose the parking I have. The tenants who once required a set number of parking spaces per employee are reducing their demand as workers expand their use of alternative commuting methods. For example, mass transit, bicycles that we use all the time to go to work, for example me, ride sharing and walking are becoming more popular ways to get to and from work. Another issue is how to provide parking to tenants who have a large number of workers with alternative work arrangements. but who may be in the office at the same time? Building owners will need to find alternative ways to generate revenue from resources currently devoted to parkings. Infrastructure and new public-private partnerships, which is the fifth point. With the number of infrastructure needs in markets across the country becoming more numerous and varied, the opportunity exists for private investments to become more involved in providing solutions. And these solutions are good for the community, and if designed appropriately, can be profitable for investors. Actually, this is one of the issues that we had discussed earlier, and we made another presentation, the role of real estate professionals into development of new areas, be it megapolises or new areas of these megapolises. And the idea was to hear the voice of the real estate professionals who understand more in practical terminology and more and quite advanced with their knowledge can be helpful how to design and what to design while making private partnerships with public designers and cities, city councils who are trying to build or renovate or attract new areas for the new constructions. For example, in the case of Nice, the city council decided on expanding the city on the right side because on the other part there are no places. And in this case, city council initiated a call where all stakeholders, all the professionals who are interested in this project tried to make propositions, what they expect or how they see, and out of this call, the city council decided to project. This is one of the good examples. If you remember, John, we had another global real estate think tank event on the smart cities and slow cities that were kind of examples of private-public partnerships in many countries. And we showed that even private initiatives sometimes give more and interesting results than when the public sector is trying to design by itself without the private initiative or private knowledge. The most important part is the private knowledge and the resources that the private part can put into these projects. Another interesting thing I found out that might be of interest during this year is that food is getting bigger and closer. And what is the solution when you have a generation, for example, that clearly expresses a desire to eat fresh, more nutritious food, but chosen to live in large urban areas? One way to meet this need is with urban farming. In some countries, this might become quite interesting way to develop. Not only does urban farming utilize rooftops, it is also bringing new life to obsolete urban industrial properties. And I think that this might be a case of several other countries in the coming future. Consolidation breeds specialization. What does this mean? The real estate market continues to experience consolidation as market participants look for greater market share and operating efficiency through acquisition. The market, however, has realized that there is still room for those who specialize. Specialization is really important. This specialization reminds us that real estate is still a hands-on investment that benefits from local expertise. And specialization allows developers, owners, service providers, and operators to provide that expertise to a growing variety of real estate investments. At the end, which is one of the most important parts for me, is the return of human touch, which means that we go global, we use more technology. John is helping us to use this technology to make such webinars and to attract new clients worldwide. But technology, big data, and increased market transparency has led to the perception that real estate investing can be done using an algorithm, which is not the case. While these tools have made it greatly enhanced the ability of investors to target specific investments and increase confidence in underwriting assumptions, it still takes the human touch and experience to make it work. So this is the most important part for me, and you better trust professionals and do business with them. Coming to the predictions for longer period, which is 2020, I have put only 6 predictions, and again based on PricewaterhouseCoopers study of last year and several other public sources and elaborations based on several other statistics that I accumulated from different open sources. The first one is global investment real estate universe will expand substantially, leading to a huge expansion in opportunity, especially in emerging economies. And the market in emerging economies will have grown by more than 55% compared to 2012. This is the projection that more or less correct compared to different sources that I was studying and reviewing. So imagine only in a few years we're gonna have huge increase in this part, and emerging economies are becoming the largest part of this economy, where the real estate market is or will become more attractive. On the other hand, fast-growing cities will present a wider range of risks and return opportunities. The greatest social migration of all time, chiefly in emerging economies again, will drive the biggest ever construction surge. If you remember, John, in one of our studies about megapolises and the role of real estate investors in development of these megapolises, I showed that in 2020, 2030, and 2050, what are the predictions? How many megapolises we're going to have in the world? And it was amazing to see that the increase of population in those areas are increasingly fantastically. I mean, we're going to put a bit more attention how to deal with this huge concentration of humans in one area and try to understand how to develop these megapolises. Technology, again, with us and will be with us. Technology innovation and sustainability will be key drivers for value. We are in a year and years that's going to use technology for almost in all areas of our life, and especially for real estate business. And one of the technology tools that we are using now allows us to be in touch, being based worldwide. And I see that there are so many attendants from different countries. The ones that are appearing now, I say hi, and don't worry, you will have these slides available on the website, or if you want, I can send out these slides so you will have time to review. And if you will have questions, I will be happy to explain by writing, or we can make another talk. So collaborating with governments will become more important. Again, coming back to the public-private partnerships. Real estate managers, the investment community, and developers will need to partner with government to mitigate risks of schemes that might otherwise be uneconomic. In many emerging economies, governments will take the lead in developing urban real estate and infrastructure, but also vice versa. The public-private partnership coming from the right side or coming to the top-down or bottom-up approach, the PPTs will be key to develop real estate in the years to come. I think this is quite important, and we have seen in many cases that private initiatives without even public support were quite efficient, were quite attractive, while in the case of private and public partnerships, we are having 1 + 1 equal to 3 results, which means that collaborating together with private and public knowledge, experience, and sources, we're going to have much higher expected results. New wealth from the emerging economies will intensify competition from prime assets. They might have to develop assets in fast-growing but higher-risk emerging economies, or specialize in fast-growing subsectors such as agriculture or retirement, etc. And at the end, a broader range of risks will emerge. Fortunately or unfortunately, we are living in a world that is changing quite fast, and this risk might be either climate change risk, accelerating behavioral change risk, and political risks, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, political risks are harming in some markets, some countries and their real estate market, but this is the life, and there are some real estate funds that are preferring to invest also in real estate markets in countries where they are in a war. So higher risk and higher rewards, this is the algorithm for them. Coming back to France, I'm going to show you some statistical graphs, and I'm going to explain what is the French real estate market and why it is so different, and try to compare also with Germany. And when talking about France, I'm going to show this graph. That is a synthesis. These are several indexes that you can see. The existing home price index, which is the black one on the top, you can see the price. The total amount of existing home sales, the green one, the second one on your right side, where I marked total amount of sales here. The number of existing home sales here, number of sales, and the rent index. So this is a graph that accumulated so many details for you to show that even during the crisis, when we had jumps and decrease, our market is recovering slowly but steadily. Rents are steadily increasing, and the prices going down slowly, while the amount of sales are increasing, and the number of sales are increasing as well. Just to explain, the France compared with the USA, UK, Germany, Spain, and Netherlands. The black one is still France, you can see. The USA, I put two indexes just to show the two indexes, because these are also based on different methodologies, so the results are a bit different, but more or less globally they are the same. The UK is the red one. See, we have DCLG and Halifax indexes. They are not so different. We have Germany in the green. We have Spain that is steadily decreasing. We know what's going on in this market. And the Netherlands that decreased but now stabilized. So these are home price index relative to disposable income per household. And I put the basis as 2000 year 2000 here. And you can see that in some countries this index is decreased steadily, while in other countries, for example in Spain, during the crisis it jumped so high and it's now decreasing so heavily. In the case of France, we have our crisis here, and it's slightly decreasing, and I will explain what's going on in France, for example, in this graph. This is home price index and the rent index relative to disposable income per household again. And again, the year 2000 is the basis. The black one you see is the home price index relative to disposable income per household, while the blue one, as in the previous graph, is the rent index relative to disposable income per household. I don't want to go into details and explain much, but rental income is steadily, let's say, constantly, slowly increasing. Coming back to France, what's going on in France? Where are the regions that are the basin of attraction of these investments? Overall, France is highlighted in black, while in the case of Paris region and province, I divided the France into three regions because these are the most important division. Paris area, region of Paris, which is Greater Paris, and province, which means all the rest. In this all the rest, the greatest part is the French Riviera. Because as I told you, if despite the case of Germany, where they have four big cities competing each other for these investments, in Paris or in the UK, where they have only London, a London area, in Paris, in France, we have Paris area, and French Riviera. That are two main attractive points for real estate investors, not only international but also local. So we have in France Paris, region of Paris, and French Riviera, which is the greatest part of province. Of course, we had some 1/3 goes to Paris and Paris area of all these investors. 1/3 goes to French Riviera, and the 1/3 goes all around the France and other areas. So the Paris area is the highest, and this is the home price index related to disposable income per household. And if you take out the Paris, we will be much lower than we can see in this case, for example. The black one is France. And province is even below than overall average France, because the France is here mostly because Paris. Consider these two, Paris and Paris region, as one big region, as we call Greater Paris. Why French market is attractive for international investors? Because we have strong protection and security of property rights and secure, I would say also profitable investments, more secure than profitable, because profitable for some countries, different concept. I mean, profitable for an investor from Kazakhstan, if you say that the profit you might have 5% or 6%, he might laugh because they have so much inflation, and for them is 20–30% of profitableness of investments are less than average. While in Europe, profitable investments for 5 and 6% are quite normal, because these are less risky areas. We are not going to have any devaluation, we are not going to have any political crisis that would affect so much on our investments. This is a French market is crisis-resistant market. As you remember in the graphs, we didn't have collapse of our industry, not financial industry, not banking industry, not the real estate market had such a bad experience. Of course, we had decrease and increase, but overall this was constant. So we didn't have such a tragedy as in many other countries during this crisis. Yes, in France we have strict regulations for all participants in this market, the sellers, brokers, borrowers, and consumers. This is huge regulation, and that's why the French transactions of real estate are more secure and more constant. I mean, everything is done by the regulation and by the notary, who is the, let's say, advocate of the buyer, seller, and the representative of the state. This market is constantly liquid. There is huge interest of international and also national investors, and we have very high resale potential, especially in Greater Paris area and in French Riviera. Really very high resale potential, because the buyers of these markets are mostly foreigners, and each time something changes in their business, in their country, in their situation, they put on the market their property, and we are having newcomers from international area who want to have this opportunity to have a property in the Côte d'Azur, in French Riviera, to have a villa that might be also rent out, that generate quite considerable income. We are working with a lot of partners throughout the world, and we use quite attractive referral fees from 33 to 50%, and the commissions are more or less around 6–7%. There are attractive conditions for non-residents even. for mortgage loans. Currently, in this area, foreigners easily can get a mortgage loan not only from French banks, but also from Monegasque banks, the banks that are in Monaco, which is next to us. And in the case of Monaco, this is quite interesting as well, because becoming residents of Monaco is more advantageous than become a resident in France, because you are not paying some taxes. And this is a specific area, and I will be happy to consult if someone is interested to become an investor in this area. I want to mention once again that prospective buyers can expect to borrow in average at 1.5 to 2% annual for their investment in real estate. This is incredibly low for many years. We didn't see such kind of thing, and the projection is that they are going to increase starting from mid this year. So if you are ready to invest using the credit means, better to move now. This is a slide that is more technical, and it explains how the legalities of buying property in France, what are the steps, what should be done. The most important is that there are no restrictions on foreigners buying property in France. You don't need to have a banking account to buy property. You don't need to have anything. You just need to have sufficient income or money on your account, and independently where it is account, in your home country or in another country, you can use this money. If it comes from your own account, you can use this money to buy the property. I don't want to spend much time on France. I just want to show several pictures that some of you are familiar with, and for some of you will be interesting to see. And later on, I will stop here to ask for to give floor for some questions. This is our.
I was going to say, we do have a couple of questions, so when you're ready for those, just let me know.
Yes, please. I'm going to show some fantastic pictures for the ones who are seeing only snow outside. Imagine we are having the sunny weather now, and on the right side, this is my city where I'm based in here. And this is the most famous hotel, Negresco Hotel, and our agency is just next to it. So whenever you come, you will enjoy the French Riviera, and you will enjoy your investment, and you will enjoy many other things. These are some of the properties that we have in this area. Some villas, just to give an idea how they look like, some castles, and vineyards. You all know that rose wine in this area are considered one of the best in the world. Of course, for the ones who are from Napa Valley, I tried that one. I like a lot, but I prefer this one. This is the French Riviera. You all know the Cannes, the Villefranche. These are the cities next to Nice. Being here, you can do many things. An hour drive, you can ski on the Alps. An hour drive, you can play your golf. In front of you, you have your yacht. And you can go for shopping, chic and luxury lifestyle. Here is the reality where we see what we see every day. And I invite everyone to come and enjoy together with us, together with culture, because many other famous painters and artists choose this destination to come and be inspired, and you can see whatever you are looking for in your life. It's part of a paradise is looking for you. It's just an advertisement of French Riviera. There we go. And the most important part of this is that France, and especially French Riviera, is a business destination. We are not enjoying our life laying down on the sun and playing, but also doing business, which is quite profitable. We are highly specialized, and we have a niche market. We keep an exclusive part of the market, and we are happy to collaborate with you. And I believe some of the participants are real estate professionals. And I invite all of them to contact me directly if they want to have a business together with us. So I will stop here. I was probably quite fast. I didn't explain many details, but this is the time to ask for questions, and I'll be happy to go over them.
Excellent. Thank you, Vog. We do have a couple of questions, and I know we're over the time period, so if you can we'll try to answer these questions as quickly as possible. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to Vog. You have his contact information. Someone wanted to know if you had any more information on Mexico you could share. Linda had a great question. She was interested in more specifics in Mexico, and maybe that's a question she could send you an email on, or I could provide you her.
I have the case of Mexico studied in several pages. I can send this review to her and explain the risks and rewards, both industry and country, and what are the projections of this real estate market of Mexico. This is quite interesting case, and also in Brussels, when we had the FIABCI days, we met our colleagues from Mexico, and I promised them to send out some materials concerning this the Mexico case.
Okay, we'll also put those online. I'm going to be meeting with Alyssa tomorrow with the website, and we're going to be going over some changes. We'll make sure we get those on the website as well, Linda. So
that would be perfect.
Thank you.
In any case, even after this review, if you will have any questions, then just don't hesitate to drop an email, and we'll talk over Skype, or I will explain a bit more details.
Excellent.
This is quite interesting, and thank you for Mexico, sorry.
Yes, and then Eric wanted to know if mortgage, with regards to the Netherlands, is mortgage interest reduction from taxes included in disposable income? The mortgage interest deduction, would that be included in the when you reduce that from your taxes, would that be included with your disposable income?
It is included.
It is, okay, good. And Eric also wanted to know, he said he understands that since January 1st, 2016, social contributions are renewed in France in case of taxable capital gains tax when selling a second home by UE residents. How are these changes built up?
Eric, this is quite particular and interesting question. I'm gonna provide you with greater details what happened, what is the modification of our regulation concerning these taxes and also social contributions. This is quite interesting case, and I will send you the material that explains all these issues, because this is very particular concerning French market, so maybe other participants are not that much interested. Eric, thank you so much for this question. I'll send out the email with these explanations, and I'm going to talk to you to explain more. This is quite interesting, and for many international investors, these are even not known facts. In case this is quite interesting and important modification, and many non-resident buyers can use these modifications because this is in favor of these residents, of these investors.
Okay, great. And Maria has her hand up. I'm going to unmute Maria. She has a question. Maria, can you hear us? Maria, can you hear us? Did you have a question?
Yes, I have it. I just put it, I wrote it. Hi, this is Maria from Panama. Nice to meet you. Can we have Panama market forecast?
I do not have many details now, but for the case of the bench of countries that I put on the slide, I will put this the review of these countries together with Panama case, and I will send it out to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Panama is quite interesting destination for this year for FIABCI as well, and I guess if not all, that at least some of the participants know what is FIABCI and know that we are going together in Panama very soon for the FIABCI annual meeting. And in case of, instead of Maria, I'm inviting all of you to have a look on this information, to register and to be there, because this is going to be an excellent event, to meet each other for networking and to understand what is FIABCI and how can they gain being a part of FIABCI, and in order to do international business. This is a big family worldwide that is sharing knowledge and being a real partner, trustable partner. So welcome to Panama in May, everyone. And Maria,
I was going to ask real quick, because I think, Maria, you're the convention chair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, you want to tell everybody a little bit about what they can expect by coming to Panama?
The floor is yours, Maria. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, we welcome all of you here in Panama. Panama is a very exciting, small but very exciting country. We have a lot of opportunities for everybody. So there's, as Mr. Vaughn says, here we have a lot of growth, and in the in industry as well, in the living, homes industries, and just expecting that this growth is going on more and more, much better, and let's see what's happening. That's why I was asking the question, because it was focused mostly in Europe, and we were expecting about how it will be in Panama so far. So let's see. It is very exciting to welcome you all here in Panama, and let's do the business.
Okay, thank you, Maria. I'll mute you back now, and I want everybody to know she has been working so hard on the Congress for this May in Panama, and they've got lots of great things planned for us. So be sure and attend and put that on your calendar. Well, Vog, we want to thank you so much. I want to remind everyone that we will have the presentation loaded on the website, and we'll take more of Vog's information, make sure we get that loaded up as well. Next month, we're going to have Tony Grant will be doing our webinar. He's got some interesting information he will be sharing with us. In April, we're going to be talking about Spain and some of the processes for how you purchase a home in Spain. By the way, I'm also going to take the audio from this presentation. We will have it on the website in the form of a podcast if you would like to download that and listen to it on your smartphone in the form of a podcast. But Vog, thank you again for joining us. It was a great presentation, lots of interesting information, and we appreciate everybody joining us.
Do I have a right of the last word?
You definitely do. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much, John, for initiating and providing this support for the webinar. I think this is really great opportunity, and we should use this tactic to be in touch with many other members. And special thanks to World Council of Brokers, special thanks to Farooq Mahmoud, special thanks to you to organizing and keeping this this council quite busy all over the year, and not only working but also helping others to work and share their experience and learn from each other.
Great.
And let's say congratulations to Farooq Mahmoud, because they just 2 days ago they made the first event of FIABCI India, and the board was elected. So congratulations to our friends to enlarge our FIABCI family, and hope the World Council of Brokers will have such an events during the year as well, and I'll be happy to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vog, and thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are located, and we will talk to you again next month. Have a great day.
Thank you very much to all participants.
Thank you.